Hello, it is Dr. Toni Haley, your triple certified family medicine physician, lifestyle coach, and fitness trainer. I help female physicians who are overwhelmed, maybe overweight, who are prioritizing everything but their own health. Through my coaching programs, I help them to visualize the possibilities, gain confidence as they optimize their health so they can live the life that they envisioned before medical school. I have a special guest here today with me, and I'm actually on Periscope at the same time. So if you see me looking, it's because I have an audience on two different networks practically, right? So I wanted to bring a special guest today all the way from Florida.
Yes.
And I live in South Carolina, so this is a special edition of my broadcast today. So Dr. Lauren Powell, such a pleasure to meet with her today because she's someone who I think you need to hear from. She has really pioneered a lot. Oh, someone is giving you a little love. Hi, Dr. Powell. So here's the situation. Let me talk to you a little bit about what I know about her, and then I'll let her chime in a little bit. She's not going to probably say all that she does, but I will tell you a little bit about her. She is someone who hails from Detroit. And it's wonderful to have her all over the place and still here with me right now. But she went to medical school there. She also has a background that I'll share with you a little bit later that is a little surprising for a doctor. She's got a lot of different things going on even before she went to medical school. So I can't say I'm surprised at the things that she is thinking about doing going forward. Some of it we'll share maybe a little later. So I just wanted to bring her here today because she's the chief resident for Halifax Hospital, and that makes her a busy lady. But what also makes her super busy is she is someone's daughter, right? And her family's still in Detroit. Her husband, Carl, who unfortunately I couldn't have him here with us today because he is doing some other things, but he did allow her to come with me, which is wonderful. But she's married. She's no longer a newlywed. This is your 3-year anniversary yesterday. So I'm all, yeah. And I just wanted to introduce her a little bit, let you know how busy she is, how much she has going on. And she will be graduating in just a few short weeks from residency, but yet has a handle on a lot of things that I think you guys need to hear about. So Dr. Lauren, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Dr. Toni.
So why don't you tell them a little bit about just your interests outside of medicine?
So residency is done in 25 days. I'm not counting, but it's in 25 days. I have a lot of medical interests. I love nutrition. I love health prevention. I do a lot of things with health disparities and diversity, particularly in medical education. So I have a lot of interests outside of medicine and within medicine, and cooking, nutrition, exercise.
Absolutely. So we're birds of a feather. And what I find is that she is someone who didn't let residency stop her or limit what she was going to do, even though we all know residency is pretty rough and tends to be all consuming.
Yeah.
So why don't you share a little bit about what you were able to do even despite all of your demands of being chief resident?
Sure. I think residency was one of the most disruptive things to my life, outside of undergrad, outside of medical school, because you literally have no control of your life. I mean, you guys know how it is. You're told where to be, when to be, and you have no control except to fit it in where you can get it in. So I think my first year of residency was probably the most challenging because I had just gotten married, I had just moved, and then starting a new job just out of residency. So it was kind of a lot to juggle and get a hold of, but you just kind of do one thing at a time and you get one piece together, and then you add the next piece and the next piece. And so starting a new job and then figuring out how to balance my relationship at the same time, my husband and I had been long distance. So it was so different than being together, right? Because when you're long distance, you just plan to see each other hey, we'll see each other, in 1 month. And in that one, when we get together that weekend, it's just us two. But now we're together all the time, and I have to figure out how can we still get in quality time. He works nights, I'm days, and I don't even know what you call residency schedule, days, nights, 24 hours. So you learn how to fit it in and how to work with each other. And you really have to determine then what's important to you.
So let's talk about staying positive through all of those changes, transitions. I feel like so many people are trying to transition their career, and there are people who are watching who are more seasoned doctors, and they're thinking, oh, she's a resident, wait till later. I feel like residency in some ways can be just as challenging if you're not staying positive. So what do you do to stay positive through all of that?
I think I try to think of the big picture, because it's easy to do the everyday, you go to work, you do this stuff, and then you go home, and then you wake up and you do the same thing, and then it's the weekend and you're doing the same things that you did during the week. And so it's easy to get kind of like burnt out or jaded, but I think you have to think of your bigger purpose. And that's, for me, what kind of keeps me positive and going. It's like, yes, this is what I'm doing right now, but it's not defining me. It's not the end. It's this right now, and it's this chapter. And as my husband says, you have to get through this chapter before you can go to the next chapter. And so I can appreciate this state now, because I know I have to do this in order to get to the next place that I want to be in my life.
So you're really speaking more about grounding in relationships. So you're trying to stay grounded in all of this that you have on your plate. And so talk to us a little bit about, I mean, you obviously have a wonderful life partner like I do. My husband is such a gem. But sometimes people look at us and like, oh, the reason you're able to do so much is because you have a husband. But I will argue, and I know that she and I agree, that in order to ever be in the position to win, you would have to be on it yourself already. So being grounded, talk about how we talk, you know, the relationship piece, staying grounded in the relationship and having the right people on the team.
Yeah. I mean, being in a relationship is great, but that's another layer. I'm considering things that I wouldn't be considering if I wasn't married, right? You know? And so, I think that's when it kind of gets back to really figuring out what's important to you, because you figure out what's important and who's okay with you saying like, I'm sorry, but that's not important to me, but this is important to me. And some people may not be happy with the fact that you don't think this and this is important, but it's like, dude, this is how much I got. This is how much I got. So, you know, depending on what's going on, that just may not be important, and it may not be something that I can do for right now.
So did you catch that? Dr. Lauren is preaching some knowledge right here, right now, by saying that setting the priorities is the first step. And I feel like so many, think about it, as a chief resident, I wasn't chief, tell the truth. I wasn't chief resident, but as a chief, you probably hear excuses a lot. People who don't, basically, they don't set their priorities first. They just tell you what happened when they didn't.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And it's just, as a doctor, it's just, there's no excuse. Like, right? Like, you just got to get it done. There's no, this isn't, you know, flipping burgers, or like, there's no, I couldn't do this or I couldn't, because you're dealing with people and people's lives. And so there's just no excuse, and there is no, I can't get multiple things done, or I can't, like, you don't have an option. You got to do it. And
absolutely.
So if you need to change some things in your personal life so that you can better manage your right now life, the what's important right now life, then that's what you have to do.
Absolutely. Good morning, Tara, Anita, and Dr. Tricia. So here's the thing. She said something super important that I think at the end of the day, we are not actually, what was I going to say? The priorities you set for work are obvious, but I'm finding more and more of my clients who are not setting those same priorities for their self-care, for their relationships. And isn't that how you stay together in a stressful situation? Yeah. So what's happening, let's talk about burnout for a second.
Okay.
Oh, how many physicians, type in the box if you know how many physicians are burned out percentage-wise in the United States of America. It is very scary, the numbers of burned out physicians. And so if you go on ahead and tell me what percentage you think, 10%, 20, go on ahead and in increments of 10, tell me what you think is the percentage of burned out physicians who clinically actually are in a bad spot, because they're not doing what you just said. Too many. I like that, Dr. Moss. I like that. Too many. We worked really hard to get to this place. I know you guys are thinking she's a resident. She has no idea. Yes, she does. That's why I brought her here, because she has a lot already She's got her mind right. And I want to share with you that how old you are, where you are in your career, none of that matters. Dr. Moss is saying it's 60 to 75%. And that's actually pretty accurate. Mm-hmm. It's actually pretty accurate because there's some people who don't respond to the survey because they're so depressed. Mm-hmm. They're not even responding. Mayo Clinic did a study and it's over 50% of physicians who are depressed. And, well, I should say who are burned out. And do you know what some of the signs of burnout are? What are some of the signs? Why don't you guys give me some ideas of what you think are the top signs? What do you see when you think somebody might be burned out when you're chief over, the program?
I mean, you can definitely tell when they're not in it. Like their body's there, but they're not like there. They're not there. They're not engaging. They're going through the motions. And it's easy to go through motions, but eventually it's going to be identified that you're just going through the motions, that you're not there. You're not giving it your all. I think when I, think about colleagues who get burnt out, it's, you notice a change in their physical activity. You notice that they put on weight. You notice that they're eating different and they're just not who they came in with. Like they came in as this bright-eyed, get it done. I'm this, I'm that. I'm living what I'm preaching to my patients. And then you just see them kind of like, dwindle a little bit.
So let me share with you guys, if you don't know, that the number one, if you were to choose one question on a survey, for instance, the number one thing that they all have is this exhaustion, this feeling of constant exhaustion, where it doesn't matter how much you rest. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter how many post-call days we give you. It doesn't matter if we let you call in or not. You don't come back refreshed. You never come back bright and cheerful. And have you ever seen a resident or other colleagues, even attendings, right, who have left off for whatever reason and come back and still the brightness isn't there? So, hi, your mom is here, Dr. Lauren.
You found it, Mom. I'm so proud of you. She's doing so good with her technology these days. Good job.
Yes. Well, we know that she must be brilliant because she made you. So, give Mom credit. She's just, we'll show her the way and we'll show her the video recording. So burnout is real. Burnout is more than 50% of physicians. Burnout is creating all kinds of problems for the healthcare system. It costs we're not going to talk about the system because, I don't feel sorry for them. Why? Mm-hmm. Because they're not assisting us. So we're not going to talk about how much it costs and all that. We're going to talk about what it costs you and what you've got to do. So we talked about priorities and setting them. I'm going to need you to stop being so concerned about the organization and the patient. You're going to need to fill your cup. You're going to need to be self-care, number one, or there won't be anything left to give anyone else. Would that be fair?
That's true.
You got to fill your own cup. You've got to pour into your relationships. Mm-hmm. You've got to have your priorities set. So by setting your priorities and your intention from the start to maintain, talk to us a little bit about how, what did I teach you about managing it all? Working with her has been such a pleasure because she was so ready to embrace whatever was next, that any suggestions that we came up with together, she implemented them immediately. What sort of things did you implement?
Really the balance thing. You think you don't have time to do things, but honestly, working with her, what did I do? I read 2 books? I haven't read a book since a non-medical book since I don't know, and you find that you think you don't have time to do things, but really you have to look at what are you doing with your time? You're doing something with your time. But is it productive? And so I think about that in everything I do. Like, is what I'm doing feeding me? Is what I'm doing nurturing my dreams and my goals? Is so everything. The music and the things that I'm listening to. That's time that you could be pouring into yourself. That's when you're working out, listening to audiobooks while working out. I never did that before, but look, I was able to work out and learn something. And so you think you don't have time, but you have time. You have time, and you really have to just look at how you're using your time and am I using it effectively? Am I making the most of it?
Let's talk a little bit about not only doing it, but the kinds of things that I want. Hi, I want to say hello from Dubai. Hello there, Tom from Dubai. I'm here on the Periscope and Tata Langarasca. Well, hello there. Just wanted to tell you guys more. We're talking about relationships and career and getting your mind right and avoiding burnout. Every career has that element. How are you? Wonderful today, because I have Dr. Lauren here, and she is just really in the zone explaining to people how to avoid this and how to put yourself first. And this, as a client of mine, she has really thrived, and she is in residency and knows that she needs to do this. And so many people who have years of experience beyond myself even, who aren't doing it. And it's actually leading to all kinds of broken homes. It's leading to a lot of alcohol and drug use and accidents. It's leading to divorce. It's leading to a lot of things. And a lot of people are getting so burned out on their career. One of the other signs of burnout is emotional exhaustion. So, you know, you're depersonalized. You feel like your work has no value. You feel like even though you're putting the patient first, like you mentioned, but it's not meaning, it doesn't feel fulfilling anymore. Raise your hand if that's ever happened to any of us. And I'm sure it's happened. Medicine for me was a career change. So, you know, I was working in sales and marketing and said, okay, let me go get my real life together. And I was burned out and I knew it. And here I am segueing into medicine and seeing all these burned out physicians. It wasn't very encouraging. So in terms of looking around, seeing that all your colleagues are down, what can you do? What examples can you give of what you can do? Now, the books that she was reading, the different books, they were books to learn about finance. They were books to learn about balance. She wasn't reading a fictional novel, let's be clear. She was trying to make sure she was getting life skills and remembering how to keep that marriage of 3 years moving in the right direction. So talk to them a little bit. Give them some examples of things you implemented to help keep your mind on track.
I think the biggest thing is like coming up with a plan and writing things down. You know, sometimes it's easy to think about, for me, it's easy to think about how I want my life to look big picture wise. It's easy for me to think, oh, I want to be doing this and I want to be doing that. And it's good to see your ideas out on paper and then to be able to talk to someone who's, you know, excited about life and is full of ideas, and to be able to talk to them about these ideas that you feel like are wild and crazy and like whatever. And then they're like, no, these aren't wild, crazy ideas. These are like real tangible goals. And then to kind of sit down and come up with a plan and figure out how you can do that. And I mean, I think that's like the key to like keep it moving. That's the key to like stay motivated and to stay excited, is because you know you have this like bigger plan and bigger purpose.
You said so much in just that short segment. She said so much. Let's pick apart a little bit of what you said. Not only are you prioritizing and planning, but you're implementing the plan. How many doctors overthink everything? They're overthinking it all. You actually are your own worst enemy out here. Now, I've done a video on you being your own worst enemy. You overthink it so much that you actually talk yourself out of really great ideas and opportunities for yourself, right? This lady works in radio. She has been on many segments there. And also, what else have you done? You've done some wonderful extra projects.
Yeah, I've done like some local magazines and newspaper. I mean, that was things that I'd never did before, but I'm interested in media. And so when you get the opportunity to do it, you just kind of go with it, and then you grow in it. And then you realize these things that I thought I couldn't do or were so big, like I can do them and I am doing them. And so, yeah, definitely talking yourself out of it. You can do it if you just think about it sometimes. It's good to think about it. And if you're thinking about it and it's one of those ideas that kind of won't go away, you just should just go for it.
Let's go back to thinking outside the box. You know, thinking outside the box is really what we're talking about. Don't listen to those burned out folks. They're the majority. What did you say? You had said something to me about having all these people around you who didn't get it.
Yeah. Because becoming a doctor is such like a big, huge thing anyway. So when you talk about wanting to do things with your medical degree, that's like outside of I go to work, I see a patient, I come home. Some people don't really get that. That's like, sounds kind of crazy. My husband thought it was kind of crazy. He was just like, you know, you went to medical school, you're going to be a doctor. You're going to do the doctor thing, and that's what you do. But, you know, I knew when I got into medical school that I didn't want to do the doctor box thing. I didn't know exactly what it was going to be, but I just knew I didn't want to just be in this box. And I have amazing mentors. I have amazing doctors that have helped me get to where I am, but I didn't know anyone or see anyone that was doing and living the doctor thing that I wanted to do. And so I saw you on social media living the doctor, her own box, which is not a box. She's always outside of the box. And I was like, that's what I want. Like, that's what I want. And I know that I want it. I just don't know how to get out of this box. And so I think that's one of the things that working with you helped me with, is get out of the box, create my own box, which is not a box. It's like a pentagon heart shaped, thing.
It's an enigma.
It's my thing. And so that's what makes me excited. I'm excited about my box, my future. I'm creating it and I see it and I'm excited about it.
Absolutely. You said it. When you're talking to the wrong people, you start to squash your own enthusiasm. They squash your enthusiasm. So by seeking out help, seeking out other like-minded individuals, I tell people that all the time, you got to clean out the cobwebs of the relationships that don't work, the friends who don't get it, your colleagues who are burned out. You got to just clean out the cobwebs and allow the sun in. And I think that's really what you did. Now, how did you feel before we worked together?
How did I feel? I felt excited. I didn't know. I had plans, I had ideas, but I didn't really know what to do with it. I didn't know if it was like real or if these are just like dreams that I should just have and like always daydream about. And then working with you, it like felt real. It felt like, oh,
tangible.
These are things that can happen. And I appreciated, your energy and your excitement about life. Because sometimes people just aren't excited about their future,
Right.
And it's because they're not thinking, it's not looking the way they want it to look. And so how can you be excited about something that's like not what you want, not what you desire, not what you dreamed of?
Painting the picture, setting priorities. I'm just rehashing for you guys who may be joining us late. Hi, happy Ramadan is what somebody's saying here. You have to I think that's good that religion is something. I know that your faith is very important to you, and a lot of residents will make excuses about even getting to church and things like that. We have the internet. You could always watch your home church. That's the thing. Put the excuses to the side and really think about what you say is important, and put actions, marry the actions. Yeah. And I feel like you've done such an excellent job of that, because every time I would talk to her, she was about to go on radio or present. She won an award for presenting a wonderful topic that was near and dear to her heart, but not making excuses at one of the busiest times you've ever had in your life is just a sign of someone who's willing to step out of the norm and say, I stay up all night for these pagers. I might as well go on and do something for me.
Yeah.
And get up post-call. I used to get up post-call and take a walk after my call to clear the air, the cobwebs yet again, get some fresh air. But how many doctors tell you don't have time to work out?
Yeah, they do.
They don't have time to read.
It depends. You can work out depending on what rotation that you're on, but you can always find the time. You just have to figure out how it can fit in. And sometimes that may mean doing things different, doing something at home or doing something in the morning. But I think you can get it in if you feel like it's something you need to get in.
So you feel very excited about the future. I take it now.
I'm super excited.
She has really big plans after working with me. And it's not like I'm magical. It's more so that sometimes you just turn the key and the door opens and then all of a sudden the light shines. It's like opening up a bay window. You already had it inside you. It's just very difficult sometimes when the world is not really signing on, co-signing. But the power of social media in this case, I met her today. I want to share that because I think sometimes people have a perception of the internet. The internets are these bad places. No, the internet has allowed us to come together because she knew what she wanted. So starting with knowing what you want.
Yeah.
What did you see that made you say, you know what, I need to go ahead and step out?
Yeah, just seeing someone who was living and doing things that like I want to do. Like she's doing other stuff with medicine. Like I want to do other stuff with medicine. And she seems like she's making it work and, she's married, working, traveling. Like that's what I want my life to look like. And I don't have people physically around me who are doing that. So I just took a leap and stalked you or reached out. And, and you're surprised. I mean, social media, you meet so many people so many people that you probably never would have crossed paths with. And so it's such a powerful tool to connect with people.
You are saying the one thing that most people actually don't do. They know better, but what do they do about it? She took action. I got this really awesome message. She saw me. She didn't know what in the world she was getting into, but that's something you said before. You know, working with me isn't for everyone because
it can be uncomfortable, right? If you want to do things and have things be different, sometimes that means you have to be different and you have to interact different. And sometimes that can be uncomfortable and it can be challenging. And so if you're not ready to do that, working with you could be kind of
a bad idea. Yeah. Timing's everything. So once you get an idea of what it is you want out of life, or you start feeling uncomfortable where you are, I think it's really a matter of being so uncomfortable where you are that you have to step out of wherever that box is. You're like, you know what? I don't know what's out there, but I am feeling crushed in here. So I'd rather step out and hope for some relief. And that's kind of what happened when you reached out. She just really was feeling like this isn't it. So if you're feeling like, is this it? Then chances are you probably need to have a strategy session with me. We have other plans today, so we're going to wrap up, but I just wanted to thank you for being here with us, with me today, sharing your personal perspective on just how to get it right, how to get your thoughts together, and how to take that step that, I don't know, I feel, that nervous butterfly. Were you a little nervous?
A little bit. Just a lot of it.
And sometimes when we talk, she's still a little like, oh, I knew you were going to do that. But at the end of the day, we all grow. And it's a circle of life. You have to grow a little bit from where you are in order to win at the level that you and I have discussed. Watch out for Dr. Lauren. She's going to be doing big things, of course, because I only surround myself with winners. If you need a strategy session with me, please go ahead and schedule it. They are no cost to you. It could be the box. It could be the escape that you're looking for. If you're not sure, if you're just stuck, this is when you want to do it. Because if you just stay there, heaven knows nothing will change. Time will pass and you may miss some opportunities to do the things you really want to do. You can reach me at bit.ly/Dr. Toni MD. That's DrToniMD. And follow me on Twitter, Dr. Toni MD. Follow me on Instagram and also on, what else do I have? Facebook. But I have different pages. Follow me on all of them because you know what? Tidbits will come your way and it may be the difference between you staying in the box or getting yourself free. Take care. Have a great day.